You did, yes, we did.
It's more like, yeah.
Is he writing here? And I call to order the Grant County Board of Education monthly board meeting on November 13, 2025 at 6 p.m. Ms. Linda, may we have a roll call?
Ms. Cartlidge? Here. Mr. Nelson? Here. Ms. Smith? Here. Ms. McClanahan? Ms. Worthington?
Here. We will now have the reading of our mission statement by Emily McClanahan.
The mission of Grant County School Board is to respond to the needs of all students and empower each child to succeed at their highest potential. This will be achieved through our policy decisions and resource management.
Thank you. We'll now have the pledge to the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, we'll move on to the construction update and approvals. I think we have a lot to go through here.
The first one is
Just the pay application. Do that one first.
is performance.
Okay, number one is the approval of pay application for GCHS boiler in the amount of $217,102.55. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Yes.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Do I go ahead and have a
Now it's time for.
Now, okay. You're up.
All right, didn't want to step on anybody's foot there.
You're fine.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to see everybody again. So what we have, this is the preliminary approvals of the field and stadium project. There's a lot of auxiliary things that we included in the project also. So what I was going to do is kind of run through a boilerplate list of all the things that are included in the project. You will see the final documents come back next month as well. I'll have the copy of Mr. Shipp, the hard copy, and I leave these with you so you can use them well. So first thing is in conversion of the grass football field to synthetic turf. So we've been working on some nice graphics, and this is still kind of up in the air, but there's some neat things you can do with that. Let's give you that for you. Yep. So that kind of shows that. It's got your logo in the middle and all the great things. And I kind of like the different color variations. It looks like the old 49ers bill. Back in the day, I don't know what 49ers can, but you know.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's got the line.
That's all right, you don't have to do
That almost broke my heart twice when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're converting the football field to synthetic turf. That's the first piece. New stadium lights are all LED. A full track replacement with high jump and 2 long jumps inside the track. So that's what you'll see here. These are your high jumps on the one end where you're going to use them. And then you have your 2 long nets here for the long jumps there. So, and that's the full track that runs all the way around. 100 new water service at the sidelines. Like I see people make it other districts are kind of new things, like PVC drill holes and firm stuff. So there's some neat options once you put water down there. New scoreboard, new flagpole. And then we have to have some stormwater retention upgrades because the way that they look at these fields are, they look like the blacktop, but the water goes through them, but you still have to retain that water that you create so you don't create water runoff. So that's one. The press box, we're looking at putting an addition on the press box, which is right here, which is the side towards the school. Okay. New roof on the existing press box, and running a fiber optic line back to the high school for your connectivity. You'll notice there's also 2 tennis courts that are going in the back, with some seating, a little bit of parking, and driveway with up here. That's included in the project. Like I said, you have a small paved area with bleachers and a small ADA parking with access to that court. We then have, it's kind of on this sheet on the other side, it wouldn't fit in one, we're big enough, but we're pretty much doing paving improvements to the campus as well. So you can see from here, we're doing a 2-inch mill and fill, which means they come in a, basically route out 2 inches of asphalt and put it back. If we don't do that occasionally, the asphalt is so thick, it's showing kind of curves like it just kind of keeps growing. So you have to do that. We're doing that in the student lot, the CTC lot, and the drive runs into the stadium. Doing minor full depth repairs as necessary. We're seal coating other areas. We're going to do a full stripe. We're going to work on the concrete wall, replace it at the front of the high school. And then we did the under drain with the water coming from the parking lot in. Now we have a little bit of water that's coming from the lawn area of the school out into it. So we're going to put some under drains coming on the back side of the sidewalk. And then seal coat that transportation as well. So you can see we're pretty much covering everything all the way around the whole lot on the high school, and then also this whole lot comes back into that area. The field house improvements, we're going to infill the current rolling counter door with masonry, install a new sliding window. So that's going to be up here at the field house. We have some miscellaneous things, so we'll find a general contractor on board. Do some tuck pointing the brick at the student cafeteria courtyard. Soffit modifications at the entry canopy. I think there were problems with in there, so that's one we're going to just shift from asking about that for 3 years. So that's going to be addressed. And we're going to have an alternate for doing some repairs of concrete bleachers and grandstands and a band tower. So there's going to be kind of different money allows. As far as overall schedule, like I said, I'm going to try to bring an approval back next month. We're going to release it and advertise it in the early January window, and then full speed ahead to try to get this thing completed. The big key in these projects, and I don't know if you've noticed it, but almost every highway job that we're lining now, you see the Mount Carmel trucks come in, they basically lay down a line of cement dust, and then they rototill it basically into the soil, actually builds heat and makes it really strong, and allows you to do a lot of grading work through winter and dries it out. So it can put you in a position where you can do grading in March or in the normal season. So we include that one, and that's kind of our budget. All of those have been able to do this kind of accelerated timeline through spring with one of that. Mm-hmm. Very good. So, that's what it is. I mean, the big piece is going to be building this field because you have to take the crown out, and you have to take the topsoil down, and I mean, you're probably going to get rid of, probably 18 inches of material out in the middle of that. So, you don't kind of level it out. But, we know what the turf field can do. A regular field, 25 events, and the grass is smoked. This is built for it. The only thing, I had one client once that hit a flare spot, and he always had the glass to do stuff every day in one corner. So we told him to leave stuff moving around a little bit. So if you move around, this thing is, it's pretty much indestructible for a while.
That's awesome. Let's see if we can
All right, good, thank you. Yeah, I'll read the yes, stop there. Thank you.
Okay, so for that, we'll move on to number 2 under F, approval of the owner-architect agreement execution. Do you have a motion to approve that? I'll make the motion. Do you have a second?
Don't matter.
Okay, we'll take 10 on this one. All in favor? To have approval of the schematics and design development drawings, which we just saw. I have a motion to approve that. Emily? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, and finally, the design development BG3 approval / execution. Do I have a motion to approve that? Do I have a second? I'll second. All in favor? Recognitions and presentations. I think we have a little ditty tonight. Thank you, Emmett. Appreciate you.
Real quick, I would normally do this in person, but this is the only time that I can track her down when I'm at the high school. On behalf of Eastern Kentucky University and myself, I want to present a certificate of appreciation to Mr. Todd Moody. It was his doing that I went back to school and am pursuing teaching as a full-time job. So, sir, thank you for your insistence and thank you for the inspiration of letting me know what my calling was. Thank you. Oh, okay. Gotta make it Facebook official, as they say. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. It's always nice to have good things going on. Ladies, not anybody signed up for public comment, so we'll move on. If everybody's okay, we'll forego recess tonight.
Okay.
Okay, we're on to J, claims. I have a motion to approve the claims as we saw last week. Jean, do I have a second? Ms. Debbie? All in favor of approving the claims? Okay. Superintendent travel, do I have a motion to pay Mr. Mudge for his travel? Emily? I'll take Lori as my second on superintendent travel. All in favor? The consent agenda, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Jean, do I have a second? I'll second. Okay, we have a discussion on the consent agenda. We went over the advanced coursework plan last week with Ms. Jamie. The other is just to offer more services to our students, which I think is wonderful, and a fundraiser for Mason. So if nobody has any discussion on that, all in favor? I don't think we have any recommended action, older business, new business. We have a approval and discussion of the school calendar for 26, 27, and 27, 28, the first reading of that. And we have those on the table if everybody wants to kind of look over those real quickly. And Mr. Justin's going to give us his thoughts.
I'll stand up here so you guys can hear me a little bit better, but
Thank you.
first thing I would like to do is go over who was on the calendar committee. I really appreciated their time, their efforts, and what we were trying to accomplish this year. So this committee was comprised of certified, classified employees, parents, community members, someone from the board office had to be on that committee. That was me. My assistant Anita was on that committee. We had a principal. So Shane Price was our community member. Lisa Smith was our board member. Tyler Mullins, Allison Day, Sheena Walter, Jada Ray, Michelle Fry, April Dick, Austin Ryan was a parent. Nicole Davis was our principal, and Nate Jones. So our goal as a committee was that I thought it would be a good idea and a fair goal to come up with 2 calendars to present to you all. The reason that I felt like that was something that was fair was it would be fair to our community members who maybe don't work in the school system, right? So the sooner that we can get these calendars out, the sooner that our families can plan vacations. People who don't work in the school system could ask for vacation days or days off from work, and in hopes that maybe that could help improve our attendance, even in the slightest bit, just by putting that out there so people had time to plan. Of course, we know that there's always going to be those times where people don't do that. People are going to do that on the opportunity to do so, right? So if you look at the first calendar on 26, 27, I will highlight some of the things on there that I feel like are most important that you would probably want to know about. So if you look in August there, our start date Start date for teachers would be 13th and 14th. Those would be professional development days, with the 17th being our opening day. We also kept into play the transition days. The transition days look like kindergarten, 6th grade, and 9th grade would have their own first day of school. Give them an opportunity to be in a new place, in a new building. Seeing strange faces for the first time, I think sometimes is a lot easier on kiddos and students when they don't have all of the bigger kids and older kids in around them. So we did keep that transition day on the 18th there, and then on the 19th, everyone else would come back to school. Another highlight is in October. You'll see fall break is on a Friday and Monday. In December, you'll notice that the committee decided to not attempt to come to school the first 2 days of that week of Christmas because we felt like the attendance would be too low. Families may be traveling. The first week, well, actually it's the second week technically. The 5th through the 9th of April would be our spring break. And then you can see how that puts us ending up in May. I will say that the committee was very vocal on a lot of ideas, on a lot of opinions on how this calendar should go. So the first time that we met, they had a ton of really good feedback from different perspectives and different views. We took that information. I came back in the office, and Miss Anita and I came up with a survey. That survey was sent out to the entire staff and anyone that works for Grant County Schools. The survey had some different options on there, like would you rather fall break be on a Thursday, Friday, or a Friday, Monday? There's one example of that. Spring break, would you rather spring break be on week 1 of April or week 2 of April? So just to give them some voice in the calendar, make them feel like they were a part of the decision-making process, and took that information and came back to our second meeting and said, hey, here's what that information told us, and this is what our calendar will look like. So if you look on 27, 28 calendar, you'll see that calendar mimics the 26, 27 calendar, very similar calendars as far as when we're starting, when our breaks are. I won't worry with all of the information that I just gave you. You can see it there. If you have any specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. But again, the two calendars mimic each other very closely.
Now, you're doing 2-year calendars, so when are you going to do 28, 29?
That's a great question. So we would meet each year, and we would always meet one calendar year ahead. So next year we would meet, but next year we wouldn't do 2 calendars, we would just do one. Yeah, we would do one calendar each year moving forward.
Good job.
I like the idea of that, yes. Keeps things rolling and everybody kind of knows where we're at, so we don't have to keep going back and going.
Have you consulted with Williamstown on spring breaks and stuff?
Yes, I have. So they said that they weren't even going to start this process until around Christmas break.
And they complain about the same.
Well, we've got ours, we can give them ours, so if they choose to.
And she's great to work with, their EVP is great to work with.
Just
She knows what we were doing. We talked back and forth a little bit, and I'd say their calendars were one very similar to what we have.
Okay. Just when theirs done, they can go with ours if they would choose to, so we don't want to wait that long, December's too far away. So,
Yeah. Complaining about that, because that family, they want to do it all together.
okay, so do I have a motion to approve the school calendar for our first reading?
Yes.
Do I have a second? I'll second. All in favor? We're on to reports. Do any board members have a report? We're all good on hours. Everybody's got their hours now, so that's a positive.
No.
None of us have to go in December. Mr. Mooney, do you have anything to share?
I had a win a few years ago when Ms. Wright was here. She worked with the technology department of their goals was to be a one-to-one district, meaning that we would have one device for every child available to our students. We got word from Ms. Killen, who now heads up that department, that we have made it to that point. So don't misunderstand that. So that doesn't mean the kids are on computers all day, but anytime a kid needs a computer, there is one device dedicated to every child so that every child has access to a computer. So I think that is to have come as far as we've come since my time in the district. That began in 2019. I know when I went to the high school, they weren't one-to-one at that time either. So kudos to the tech department. They've done a tremendous job, and that's more than just buying Chromebooks and cards. The infrastructure that has to be able to support that, the maintenance of those machines, the cleaning of those machines at the end of every year, the inventory of those machines. So there's tons of legwork behind the scenes that people don't always appreciate or see that go into making that happen. So yeah, good job to the tech department.
Specifically, Beth Jefferson and Nathan Million, they do that. I just oversee them, but they take care of them.
Sit back and you.
I did attend the second module of the cohort for local accountability through ODEC today. Fleming County and Shelby County presented their models. I feel like we're in a terrific spot. They were talking about entry points. You can start with a profile of a graduate or a strategic plan. We have both. So I feel very good about where we are. And one of the things I think we're doing different is our pillars so that we have some overlap. So the presenter was asking me about our model. And I was talking about there will be some academic in growth and some academic in success. And she found that very interesting so that everything's kind of woven. So it's not living in complete silos so that we can show growth academically and we can show success academically. And so, but I feel very affirmed in the work that you all have done towards that. We feel good about where we are in the process. So I just want to give you an update on
that. Finance report, Mr. Brian here.
Have we left all of that?
I was going to say, what happened in October?
So October is always our lowest month because it's the last month before we get our November tax check, which I picked up Friday, I believe. It was just a hair less than $7 million. So you have a lot more money in the bank than what that says.
I was going to say, this is probably the lowest I've ever seen it. That's kind of scary there for a moment. Awesome, okay. Will we get a fairly good size check in December? January?
Not as big, but January. Yeah, the two biggest months are people paying early in October and then meeting the deadline on December 31st. It's a month in arrears, so we figured up in November and January.
You have any questions about the finance report? Okay, and we have our DPP report on our desk here as well.
I forgot to give somebody a compliment. I always like to give people credit, and credit is due. Danielle made those calendars look very pretty. She definitely put a woman's touch on it. Because what I handed her did not look like that. So thank you, appreciate it.
Looks very cool.
So if you look at our attendance score on 3 there, going down the side for C and Z, they were around 95%. Their enrollment is at 381. DRE enrollment is 388. Again, they're 94.7, so right around 95%, which is pretty good. MCE enrollment 282. They're at 95%. Middle school is 664. And we're sitting at 93.4%. The high school is at 951, 91%. Sherman Elementary is 392. They are at 94%. And then district-wide, not counting pre-K students, is 3058. and that is just shy of 94%. If I did my math correctly, in the district, out of 3,058 students, that's roughly 2,088 kiddos that come to school.
Did the high school stop personal illness or something there? They took a big.
Yeah.
2%.
Senior skip day was one of them, early in the year.
I was gonna say they dropped 2% from one month to the next.
That one day.
It looks like all of our elementaries have increased,
Yes.
which
Yeah,
is awesome.
They've stayed pretty steady, but I think that's with intentional work from the admin team.
Correct.
In each building, with the incentives that they're giving students for showing up to school. Just making it a fun climate for them to be want to be a school. You guys have any questions about that?
I don't, do else have any questions about it?
All right, thank you.
Looks good. Hope we don't get hit with flu or anything else like that going on. Okay, personnel actions were on the FYI, and we had reports this time on the FYI. Everybody hopefully got to read through those. Anything else we need to cover that anybody knows of? Next month, for
If I can go back just real quick, don't forget, when you see that number, we have all those investments, and we're paying for construction without drawing those investments down. So we're fronting the money for construction while we keep money in our investments so we can continue to draw high interest off of it. So that number it's a real number, but you owe yourselves a lot of money from the investments in the future. Does that make sense?
yes,
Investments.
good enough.
It's not like for one county.
They pay dividends.
Yeah.
Okay, if nobody else has anything else, we meet the first week of December, correct? First Thursday is work session, and then the second week will be a regular meeting. None of us have to go to that thing anymore. Linda said in December, probably we would start talking about our February trip to Louisville and getting our reservations and stuff set for that. As soon as they get all that out, we can go ahead and reserve our rooms and stuff.
I have to do your selections first. I think once I do that, then it will send me the
Link to do
the
the
link
rooms.
to do the rooms and stuff, so I
Usually
basically
brings out
sign
in
you all.
December, I think.
You got food, you got paid to do.
Okay, well, if we don't have anything else, to have a motion to adjourn. Do you have a second?
I'll say.
All in favor? Thank you, everybody. Thanks, everyone, for coming. We appreciate the attendance.